Hi, Dr. Games. Well, I'm coming to you live from Indianapolis, where we traveled the day before to stay in a hotel to play the next day. So it's been a fun 45-minute journey. So if there's any ruckus behind me, it's because I'm in the hotel lobby. It's the only place I can find that's quiet enough. Um, I thought that this semester, even though I know this is not the point of your assignment, but I think this semester did both, like, it did both as in it opened my mind to my clinical practice, but it also changed my clinical practice. And I know that wasn't your intention, but I think that it was a positive outcome of this class, especially as I'm a brand new clinician. So I learned a ton. Um, when I was an undergrad, I remember not understanding why someone would still work on range of motion when they went to strength and then they went to proprioception, or some people do those the other way around. And then you would go to a functional, and then you would go to sport specific. And I never understood why it wasn't just blocks, like step 1, step 2, step 3. And finally I had one of my preceptors who sat me down and she goes, it's a continuum. She's like, just because you get certain range of motion or certain strength does not mean that they're not ready to progress in another one, but you still have to build and create that foundation, so that they can get better. Because if the foundation crumbles because you forget about it when you've moved on 2 steps, then all that work has basically been for naught, because then they're starting from ground zero. And I think that's the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this assignment. And then I watched your videos and you used the word continuum as well, and so I thought that was kind of cool. But this semester was really neat in that I saw my practice as a continuum, and not just the stuff I did in my practice, but my entire practice, not just my rehab, excuse me, but my entire practice. When I looked into, when you said in your video there was that theme, I noticed it right as you said it. I didn't notice it throughout the semester, but we would reflect on our practice, and you would introduce something, and then we would have a week where we were supposed to try and integrate it. And I guess throughout that, I didn't realize how much I didn't know until somebody basically told me how much I didn't know. And I think that person telling me what I didn't know was not only you and the literature, but also myself. So I think that's one of the big reasons that my clinical practice did change. I liked that part of I really enjoyed going from pre-injury prevention and PPE to post-injury return to play. And I think that I began to see that as a continuum as well. And I agree with what you were saying in your video when you said we were doing prevention, but prevention is also treatment, and treatment can also be like prevention for another thing, and it's a continuum. And so I liked that aspect about it. And I think that it goes so hand in hand, again, with what you're saying about first we have to think about first we have to be cognizant of our own thinking, and then we have to be cognizant of a change. So I guess it's changing the way we think first, and then changing our actions if we deem them to be necessary. And I think a lot of the stuff I learned this semester, probably about 97% of it, I wasn't doing, or I forgot, or I was like, oh, I should do that more often. This is all really good things that I definitely learned this semester. How they're related is kind of exactly what I was talking about just now, in that when I looked at my prevention strategies, I never really went over it in undergrad, and now I do, now I have a better idea of it. And I think that is the stump of where I'm at right now, is what do I do with it? I ran my athletes through the single leg balance and the FMS, not only for Dr. Howden's integrative long-term assignment, but also because those two were the things that I felt would be the most prevalent, or most beneficial, not prevalent, in my practice. So that was a really cool thing for me. I just don't know what to do with the data. Now I have it, but I haven't started that continuum, and that's the problem. Is I think I'm still looking at it as step by step by step, and I'm getting there. I think I'm at the stage where I'm thinking about it. I'm changing the way I think, and I'm beginning to see this whole thing as a continuum, and how my prevention strategy, or what my screening tells me, will determine what my prevention strategies are. And then when I go to return to play, I go back to my baseline, which is my screening. And that's how I determine it. It's not by what they've gained, it's about where it all started. And that's the whole continuum. That's what makes it cyclical. And I think I'm at that point now. Change is hard for me because I feel like everything's changed. And I don't know what's changed and what I still need to change and how to change it. So I have all this data, and I've integrated a lot of the exercises into the strengthening and conditioning sessions. But I don't know, is that enough? I don't know. Like, I'd plan on doing the FMS at the end of the year and the single leg balance to see where people were at after the season's ending, because obviously we're right in the midst. But I'm at the point where I don't know. I know it's important. I know that. Like, I'm at that, like I said, I'm at that first stage where I'm thinking, and your goal for the semester was achieved in me because I'm thinking about my practice and I'm thinking about that change. I just have not implemented that change. I think what you said at the very end of your video about clinical practice being messy because it is that continuum, I have never agreed with anything more. Because my practice is so messy, I feel like as soon as I get a hold of something else changes, and then I go back and someone's dying, not dying, sorry, that's an exaggeration, but someone else is falling apart and someone else is fine, and so it was kind of crazy. But I'm learning a lot, and I'm so glad that I've had the opportunity to really advance. And I think I have so much more. I have so much more to learn. But I like that I have changed, and I liked that I do have that first step where I'm thinking about it. And I'm pretty stubborn, so I'm pretty excited about that. Not a big fan of change, really not. I like it, but I hate doing it. Like, I like the aftermath, like when you're comfortable again. So do I like change? Not really. But I can only see my clinical practice and my clinical skills advancing from here. And I love the lower extremities, so it was really easy for me to really get into this. The next semester will be a challenge, but I'm looking forward to seeing that continuum and hopefully seeing it in my practice. So I hope that this has achieved the purpose of your assignment, because I feel like I really learned an incredible amount in just when we've been talking, because I feel like I've just gotten to know myself so much in the past 4 months that I've been here as a clinician. And I just really am looking forward to seeing myself in 4 more months and hoping to go, okay, got the continuum. So thank you, Dr. Games. It's been a great semester, so this is my last video for you. So I want to take a moment, thank you for all you've done. I love this program. I'm so thankful you all accepted me. And I hope to continue strong and to get that continuum in every area of my clinical practice.